So we've had another weekend of Championship football, and in today's video we are going to be rounding up everything that went down this weekend in the Championship. And in this video we have a lot of talking points to go over. We had a lot of drama going on this weekend in the Championship. We had some absolute screamers scored this weekend, we had some pretty controversial decisions to go over, and as well as that we had some crazy results which will all be discussed in today's video. So as always, I'd love to get your guys' opinions in the comments down below as to what do you make of your team's performance this weekend. And before we do get into any of the games, I will include your guys' comments on screen now. So if you did manage to get any of your score predictions correct this weekend, then your comment will be included on screen now. And fair play to everyone who did get one right. It was a pretty good week for predictions in my opinion. I managed to get two of mine correct this weekend. I managed to predict both the West Brom and Leeds United games this weekend, so not too bad going from me. And we'll start out with the game on Friday night between West Brom and Aston Villa. Quite a lot of controversy in this game, but it was actually a very good game to watch actually. Aston Villa definitely having the better of this one. They managed to take the lead in the 12th minute thanks to El Ghazi. A very fast start for Aston Villa. Just seemed to wrong foot Sam Johnson as the ball got quite a big deflection off of Ghazi to roll in past him into the near post. After that though, West Brom did respond well. They managed to get back into the game. A nice counter-attacking move. Harvey Barnes breaking down the left-hand side, managed to get past Alan Hutton. He drifted the ball out to the far post, and then Taylor was just caught out of position, and Gale was able to sneak in and put it past Nyland to make it 1-1. After that though, we really saw Aston Villa dominating this game. They were having a flurry of chances. John McGinn hit the post, and then finally in the second half we saw El Ghazi once again with a moment of magic. A brilliant strike from outside the box, arrowing into the top corner. No chance Sam Johnson had any hope of getting to that, and Aston Villa then were 2-1 up. And at that point Villa really should have killed off the game, so they had some fantastic chances to go 3 or 4-1 up. Tammy Abraham especially, some brilliant chances falling to him. I think it was Balassi who flashed the ball across the box, and then Tammy Abraham on the 6-yard box just sort of seemed to get the ball tangled between his feet and messed up the shot, and in the end obviously didn't end up in the back of the net. He also had another chance which he just spooned over the crossbar. But then in the 91st minute we saw Jay Rodriguez level things up with a bit of a help from his hand, let's say. A very controversial goal, no idea how the referee didn't see it. The goal itself, I thought that Nyland made a little bit of a meal out of the cross coming into the box. The ball then of course fell to Jay Rodriguez. He threw his body at it, and I think the ball actually touched his hand 2 or 3 times. I have absolutely no idea how the linesman or referee didn't see this one. The linesman especially was in a perfect position to spot this, but somehow didn't give the decision in the end. But for Villa to drop points in a game like this, in such circumstances, conceding a controversial late goal, it's going to be a very frustrating one, I'm sure, for Villa fans. And then we saw Bristol City beating Birmingham away by 1-0. Going into this one, I must admit, I didn't really see this one coming. With the way that Bristol City have been playing lately, they do leave quite a bit to be desired, really, but Birmingham in this game definitely weren't at it. It probably is one of the most dreary games of football going on this weekend, really, this one. Neither side was at 100% this weekend, but it was Bristol City who managed to find all 3 points. Jeju with the only goal of the game, a corner coming in from Callum O'Dowda, which Jeju managed to find the back of the net with. Birmingham had a couple of chances for this one. Conor Mahoney had one, which flashed over the bar when he got into a decent area. Che Adams had a couple of half chances. Djukovic hit the post from a header as well. And the away side, Bristol City, also had a couple of opportunities. They had a good one early on, which Birmingham managed to clear off the line. But apart from that, not much was really going on in this game. It was quite a dreary performance from the home side especially. I thought this was probably the worst we've seen Birmingham in a couple of weeks now. A little bit lethargic in midfield and things not quite clicking with the forward 2 in this one. But Bristol City picking up all 3 points, fair play to them. They picked up some decent results lately. And a crazy game taking place this weekend between Brentford and Swansea City. Saw Swansea walk away with a 3-2 away victory. They were 3-0 up in this game, but they certainly made it hard for themselves going into the later stages of it. But what a start to this game Swansea had. They took the lead after just 25 seconds. Brentford messing around with the ball at the back. Swansea dispossessed them, flashed the ball across the box, and then Routledge had a tap in at the far post. Not too long after that, a Brentford own goal meant that Swansea went 2-0 up. Some really nice one-touch play in the build-up to that goal. And then in the 27th minute, Leroy Fer managed to make it 3-0 to Swansea. An absolutely outrageous goal. We had Routledge doing the Rabona into the box, McBurney with a bicycle kick to knock the ball across the box, and then Leroy Fer with a tap in at the far post. Unreal goal from Swansea City this weekend. And they could have had more than the 3 goals they got in that first half. They were absolutely fantastic, blazing plays forward, and coming into this game, Swansea weren't on a brilliant run of form. You know, they'd lost their previous 3 games in the Championship, but they were looking very good for this one. In fairness to Brentford, they did have some spirit to get back into this game. Ollie Watkins just before half-time managed to make it 3-1. In the second half, Brentford had to go for this one, really. They were piling players forward, which did leave them a little bit exposed at the back. Swansea probably should have got on to get a couple of goals in that second half, but nothing was quite sticking for them, and so Brentford going forward were causing this Swansea side some problems. And then a brilliant free kick in the 69th minute from Ben Rama managed to make it 3-2. And for the last 20 minutes of this game, Brentford were piling players forward, desperately trying to get something from this one. Romain Sawyer had an effort that just flashed wide of the post, and Sergi Canas had quite an acrobatical attempt at goal, which ended up hitting the crossbar. So a really dramatic end to this game, but Swansea were able to hold on. A crazy game of football this weekend. I'd love to get your guys' opinions on this one. And then we saw Leeds beating QPR by 2-1. Obviously with Cooper currently out injured for Leeds United, we saw Phillips come into that centre-back position to go ahead and partner with Pontus Janssen. And I'm not sure what I've made of Phillips so far whenever he has played as a centre-back. When he's been a defensive midfielder, he's probably been one of the best in the Championship so far this season. But the opening goal of this game coming for QPR, a long ball going over the top, Naki Walls was able to chase onto it. A bit of a defensive mix-up between Phillips and Pontus Janssen led Wells to going in on goal, and a very cool finish managed to make it 1-0 to QPR. Before that goal did go in for QPR, Leeds were probing going forward, trying to find a bit of space in behind, but that QPR defence was looking quite organised. But just before half-time, we saw Leeds get back into the game. Kamar Roof coming up with a goal once again. Pablo Hernandez just poking the ball towards goal, and Kamar Roof was able to put the final touch in it to make it 1-1 going into half-time. So going into the second half, Leeds did have a little bit more momentum about them, and in the end it was a penalty which won the game for Leeds United. Kamar Roof slotting that one away, and I believe that's their first penalty for about 53 games or something absolutely crazy like that. So fair play for putting that one away for Kamar Roof. The penalty itself did look to be a little bit soft. It was given for a handball. You can't really tell by watching the replays of it. It did look to be a little bit soft really, but even so, Leeds going on to pick up all 3 points in the end for this one. QPR I didn't think were that bad. They just couldn't get back into the game after that point, and so this result now leaves Leeds still sat second in the Championship, just 1 point behind Norwich. And then we saw Middlesbrough drawing 1-1 with Blackburn Rovers in a very dramatic game this weekend. We saw Mo Besic for Middlesbrough sent off after just 21 minutes. Bradley Dack looked to go around him. Mo Besic pulled back Bradley Dack, and in the end was shown a straight red card for that. Then from the resulting free kick of that red card, we saw Charlie Mulgrew put Blackburn ahead with a fantastic free kick to go ahead and beat down Randolph right into the far post. And I don't know what it is about Middlesbrough, but lately their defence has looked a little bit all over the place really. After Blackburn did take the lead, they had some fantastic chances to kill this game off really. Bradley Dack hit the post, Danny Graham was getting into some good areas, but nothing was quite sticking for them going forward. Eventually Middlesbrough did get back into the game. A fabulous strike from Britta Sombolonga, who so far this season I've not been a Sombolonga's biggest fan. I think he has been a little bit hit or miss so far, but what a goal it was to level things up here. A curling effort from outside the box, looping into the top corner, beating David Ray. He had absolutely no chance with that, and Sombolonga actually had a good chance to win this game. Going through on goal, he looked to loop the ball over David Ray, but in the end Blackburn were able to get back and clear the ball in the end. So finishing as a 1-1 draw. Given the circumstances, I think that Blackburn would have been quite frustrated not to walk away from this one with all 3 points, as Middlesbrough lately, their performances have dipped. And a massive game at the bottom of the Championship ended as a 2-2 draw between Millwall and Hull City. In the end, Millwall have climbed out of the bottom 3 at the end of this weekend, but even so, they probably should have gone to pick up all 3 points from this one with some of the chances they had in this game. It was the away side Hull who did take the lead though. Grosicki getting a bit of space in the box and firing it in past Archer at his near post to give Hull an early lead in this game, but Millwall did respond quite well for this one. There was a bit of a fear going into this game with Millwall that they had no fit strikers. Luckily, Gregory and Morrison did make it back in time for this one, and it was Gregory who levelled the score, and the ball coming in from the left-hand side, and Gregory managing to nod it down to make it 1-1. After that, Millwall were going forward for this one, pressing Hull, looking for that goal to go in front. Jed Wallace was looking to make things happen for them, and eventually that pressure did tell off in the second half. A fantastic try from O'Brien from just outside the box managed to make it 2-1 to Millwall, and even after that, Millwall were continuing to press forward, had some good chances to make it 3-1 in this game, but in the end it was Henriksen who managed to level things up for Hull City. From a Millwall standpoint, to concede like they did in this game, really poor from them. The ball coming in to the back post, it was then headed back across goal, and then online Henriksen managed to bundle the ball into the back of the net. Millwall considering from set pieces, once again quite poor from them, dealing with balls coming into the box so far this season, and like I said, considering some of the chances they had, probably should have gone to win this game. And what a game we had at Carrow Road this weekend, seeing Norwich beat Bolton by 3-2 in very dramatic circumstances. Going into this game, I thought it would be quite a comfortable home victory for Norwich really, with the way they're currently playing and the way that Bolton have struggled to score goals so far this season, and that was sort of justified with the way that Norwich started this game. It was Vrancic who managed to give them the lead, a very nice low strike into the bottom corner, managed to give Norwich the lead going into half-time. After that, they managed to double their lead thanks to Marco Stiepermann, once again a very nice finish into the bottom corner, managed to see Norwich go 2-0 up, and when you see Norwich 2-0 up against a side like Bolton, you're thinking, okay, they'll just continue to roll this out now, it'll be quite an easy home victory for them, but no, Bolton in this game I actually thought showed a massive improvement to what we've seen over the past few weeks going forward, and also just with the spirit and fight they actually had in this game. You know, a couple of times I have questioned that from Bolton, but considering everything going wrong with the club at the moment, with, you know, players being unpaid and stuff like that, in this game we saw a massive amount of commitment and determination from this Bolton side to stick in this game and then get back into the game. It was Amiobi in the 63rd minute who managed to pull a goal back, and then out of nowhere Beavers in the 88th minute managed to make it 2-2. A defensive mix-up from Tim Krul and his defence saw Beavers smash it into the back of the net and make it 2-2. At that point for Bolton, this is all about game management, seeing the game out now, not letting Norwich get a sniff on goal, but stupidly Sami Amiobi gets sent off in the 92nd minute, and then just a minute later, after a ball comes into the box and Bolton failed to clear it, Timu Pukki, the man on the spot in the 93rd minute, manages to make it 3-2 to the home side and wraps up all 3 points for Norwich. It's sort of sums up Norwich's never say die attitude this season, and Teemu Pukki being their star once again. But Bolton, I did feel for them in this game, a gut-wrenching way to lose a game after getting back into it so late on. Next up for Bolton, they got Leeds United at home. That's going to be a really tough test, but after that they actually do have some quite winnable games playing sides near around them in the Championship. So the next few weeks for Bolton are going to be absolutely huge in determining if they are going to stay in the Championship this season. Then we saw my team Preston picking up all 3 points against Nottingham Forest this weekend. Not the best game of football this weekend, I think it's fair to say. For this one, Preston came into this one with a game plan to just stop Nottingham Forest, sitting quite deep for this one, look to grind out the game and try and get something going forward from a set piece. In the end, that's what we did. Louis Malt scoring the only goal of the game for this one, and you know, Nottingham Forest controlled this game completely. They were looking to play us around midfield. It's just in that final third they just didn't quite have that cutting edge that we come to expect from Nottingham Forest over the last few weeks. One thing I did notice about Forest, especially in the first half, was that Lewis Grobban was tending to drop quite deep into midfield. He wasn't quite getting that service that we've seen of Grobban so far this season. You know, Grobban is a really good poacher inside the box, but for this game he was drifting wide quite a bit and dropping into midfield to just try and get involved with the play. And Nottingham Forest really probably should have taken the lead in the first half with some of the chances they were creating. They had a couple of instances where they were flashing the ball across the box. It was just no one was in the box to go ahead and finish anything. Preston also had some decent chances. Tom Barkusen had a one-on-one with Kostel Pantilimon, and after watching Pantilimon in this game, I can sort of see why Nottingham Forest fans aren't his biggest fan. He was looking like a little bit of a calamity in this game, really. He was looking a little bit all over the place for Forest. But in the end, it was Louis Malt scoring the only goal of the game. Lucas Nemecius flashing the ball across the box, and Louis Malt at the back post was there to tap in to make it 1-0 to Preston. Nottingham Forest did try and get back into this game. A fantastic save from Declan Rudd managed to keep Preston in this one in the second half. But in the end, the 3 points did go to Preston, and considering we've got 6 first-team players out injured at the moment, that was a huge result for us this weekend. And we saw Sheffield Wednesday drawing 2-2 with Rotherham this weekend as well. The situation around Sheffield Wednesday is just getting worse and worse in my opinion. Already this season we've seen them conceding 38 goals. That's one more than Ipswich so far this season. They've got the worst defensive record in the Championship, and that was on show for this game as well. Rotherham in this game, so far this season away from home, we've sort of seen Rotherham go into a lot of games where they've looked to nullify the opponent, sit back and just seem to absorb the pressure. In this game though, that wasn't really the case. They were looking to go on the front foot for this one, look to put that Sheffield Wednesday defence under quite a lot of pressure, swinging balls into the box, and eventually that pressure did pay off. Just before half-time, Lucas Jow did manage to give Sheffield Wednesday the lead, but soon after that in the second half, Rotherham managed to turn that around. Just into the second half, we saw Smith making it 1-1, and then a bit of a howler from Cameron Dawson once again this season. Saw Towell go ahead and sneak his effort in to make it 2-1 to Rotherham United. Rotherham were getting some really good areas going forward for this game and probably should have gone to bury this game off after that. But then we did see Lucas Jow making it 2-2, once again popping up on the score sheet, and after that, when it was 2-2, it was a really frantic game of football. Both sides were having chances. Either side could have gone to win it. Newhugh, especially late on for Sheffield Wednesday, had a glorious chance inside the 6-yard box, which he just seemed to spoon over the crossbar in the end. A very frustrating result for Sheffield Wednesday, all things considered, and I'm really not sure how long this manager's got left. Then we saw Stoke beating Ipswich by 2-0. This result for Stoke now lifts them up to 10th in the Championship. But for this game, I didn't think that Stoke were very good actually. They didn't really need to get out of first gear for this game, but looking at the game itself, it was a little bit of a dreary game of football really. There were 2 nice goals from Stoke in this game, to be fair. There's some nice build-up for the goal for Tommins, burying that one into the bottom corner, and a nice finish from Joe Allen managed to wrap up things for Stoke in this game. But realistically, if Stoke were coming up against a team who, you know, wasn't bottom of the Championship for this one, I thought they probably would have struggled for this game actually. I don't think that Gary Rowett at Stoke has quite got the formula right for them so far in terms of the balance between attack and defence. I don't think he knows his best 11 per se so far for Stoke, but going up against this Ipswich side, I think, you know, they didn't really need to get out of first gear, which is quite a worrying sign for Ipswich. Obviously, Ipswich still sat bottom of the Championship. Going into January, it's going to be massive that Ipswich don't let this gap get any bigger with the teams currently above them. They're currently 8 points off safety, which is already quite a mountain to climb, but if they're going into January with like a 12 or 15 point gap to safety, that's going to be a really big mountain to climb come the end of the season. So Ipswich just need to stop the rot at this point in time and pick up points wherever possible. And we saw Derby beating Wigan by 1-0 this weekend, thanks to a goal from Jack Marriott in the first half. A very nice header actually. I think it was Bogle with the cross. Marriott just seemed to arch back on himself and generate the power to get it into the back of the net. But Jack Marriott so far for Derby County has been a fantastic signing in my opinion. Obviously Derby were helped in this game by Ipswich going down to 10 men after just 15 minutes. Naismith getting a straight red card after Harry Wilson was sent through on goal from Jack Marriott. Naismith looked to hold back Wilson, and in the end the referee gave a straight red card for that. Wigan probably didn't create as much as they would have liked to playing with 10 men, but Derby County themselves, I didn't think it was the best performance from them. You know, so far this season we've spoken about Derby a lot on the channel so far, how good they have been going forward. In this game they weren't brilliant. Wigan were looking to sit quite deep for this one, and Derby couldn't didn't really get as many attacking moves as they would have liked in this game. It was quite a sloppy game of football, but in the end Derby did manage to see it off and keep a clean sheet for this game, which so far this season haven't really been too regular for Derby. So a decent result, all things considered, for Derby, despite it not being the best performance from them. And then finally we saw Sheffield United beating Reading by 2-0. Obviously earlier in the week we saw Reading sack their manager Paul Clement. This result has now actually seen Reading slip into the relegation zone, and it was quite a poor performance from Reading, I thought, actually. In the first half, in fairness, it was quite a resolute defensive performance from them. They weren't looking to give Sheffield United a lot of space, but even so they were still creating quite a lot of chances. In that first half we saw Sheffield United have 2 goals ruled out for offside. A very nice finish from David McGoldrick, but he was rightly ruled out for offside for that one. Sheffield United were creating a lot of chances in this game, and I thought the longer it was going on for, the longer it would sort of be a typical Sheffield United game where they went on to dominate a game of football, create a load of chances, but nothing was sticking for them going forward. But eventually they did break that deadlock. Billy Sharp popping up in the 83rd minute and an own goal from Baldock in the 86th minute managed to give Sheffield United a much needed victory for this one. The result does see Reading slip back into the relegation zone, and whoever does come in for this job at Reading now has a huge task on his hands. Whereas for Sheffield United, this result now lifts them back up to 3rd in the Championship. A big 3 points this weekend for them. But guys, there you have it. There were all the games that did take place this weekend. So as always, let me know in the comments down below, what did you make of your team's performance this weekend? In terms of my results of the weekend, quite a few contenders for this one. I don't really know who to give it to. I think I'm going to give it to Norwich City, just for the drama that went on in that game and for them to win it in such dramatic circumstances right in the last minute for that one, and to keep them top of the Championship. My result of the weekend is going to go to Norwich. And then for my goal of the weekend, there were some absolute bangers scored in the Championship this weekend, but myself personally, I'm actually going to go ahead and give it to Leroy Fer of Swansea City. The build-up for this goal was absolutely unreal. We saw Rabona and a bicycle kick in the build-up to this goal, and then Leroy Fer obviously tapped it in the end. So my goal of the week is going to go to Leroy Fer. But that will now wrap it up for this episode, guys, so make sure you do leave a like if you did go on to enjoy the video. As well as that, please do subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.